RNCN Trends.
And welcome back to another episode of All Things Trending. I am Josh Hart, your host, and I'm going to tell you I'm a bit shocked today. I came in fully prepared to talk about all things Russia and Ukraine, and I get in, and turns out that is not the number one thing that's trending currently in the United States, not even number two. It is number 5, but I have prepared a segment about Russia and Ukraine, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to you anyway. The number one thing that I'm hearing people ask is, 1, if Russia invaded Ukraine, and 2, why? So 1, yes, they did. At 5 a.m. on Thursday, their time, they sent missiles across the border to hit infrastructures that would be important to counterbalance an attack. So that counts by all purposes as an invasion. Number 2, why? And this is a harder question to ask, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of it. So I'm going to miss a lot of key things, a lot of important little documents that kind of went back and forth. But ultimately what this is about is when Russia and Ukraine were part of the Soviet Union. Think of it as the United States. You have Texas, Oklahoma, all part of one major country, but we're a state amongst ourselves. Well, the Soviet Union put all of their defenses, a lot of their important strategic things in the area of Ukraine to help bolster their security amongst other European groups. Well, when the Cold War ended and the Soviet Union collapsed, Russia goes, hey, not cool. And again, paraphrasing, not cool. All our stuff is in Ukraine. And so Ukraine and Russia got together, had a whole small battle, but then had a conclusion to give up all of their nuclear power back to Russia with an agreement that Russia would agree to protect them. So that was that version. Now this is about, and again, I am not saying I believe in this or that I agree with this. I'm just telling you this is what Russia is saying, is that there's 2 areas on the eastern part of Ukraine that are more like Russia than they are like Ukraine. The best way I can describe it, if people who live in Texas, is like El Paso. El Paso is very rich in Mexican culture and Mexican people, but it's still part of the United States. So if you're in that Texas mindset, the Mexican government says the people who are of Mexican descent in Texas are being mistreated. And that's why they have to fight for their people, fight for their citizens to alleviate what they're calling genocide in the state of Texas, the town of El Paso. Does that make sense? Now, again, Ukraine says that's not happening. The world, for the most part, says that's not happening. But that's what Russia is trying to say. So that is why the battle has come together. The NATO groups have not declared troops yet. I know Americans have put troops in Hungary in case there is going to be an actual battle. We're hoping it doesn't come to that. Right now, all we're doing is financial sanctions, where any money that is of Russian descent that is in the U.S. is currently frozen. So that puts a lot of pressure on the politicians there in Russia to make this a quick exit out of the Ukraine. So that is what's currently happening. Again, very brief, very surface level, what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. That should have been trending. It is not. Yesterday, what was trending was Fox News. And Fox. The reason why is because Troy Aikman is leaving Fox to go to ESPN. Why is he leaving? I'll tell you. Because Tony Romo, 2 Cowboys here battling out, Tony Romo signed a deal with CBS that was bigger than Troy Aikman's deal with Fox. And Tony Romo and Troy Aikman said, that cannot stand. I cannot be the second highest paid announcer in the NFL. So he is going to ESPN, which they have, I believe, Thursday Night Football. And they're trying to get other as well. But he is going to ESPN to do those games and get a higher paycheck than Tony Romo. I think in the long run, it's a little bit foolish. But hey, what do I know? I've never been offered $90 million before. So, who knows what I would do. That was what was trending yesterday. And then even worse than that, I'm going to go to Sarah Crilly, our beloved Real News Vice President, talk about what is trending today?
So this is not the first thing that's trending today. Today, trending on Google, because all things that are Google Trends is what we're talking about here with Real News Trends, is the Warriors, the Bulls, and then, drum roll, Kendall Jenner.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're going to skip over the Warriors. We're going to skip over the Bulls because this girl got nothing about sports. Our sports guy here also agreed, I'm not sure if we know what's going on. But go ahead. Let's open it up with Kendall Jenner, because why on earth is Kendall Jenner trending, Josh? Any kind of hot takes before
Again, I just want to point out, another country invaded another country on the brink of World War III and complete collapse. A nuclear power is about to go to war with Europe. But please, all means, what is happening with Kendall Jenner?
Okay, so Kendall Jenner opens up about maintaining her privacy and revealed, because privacy is a hot take,
Sure.
and it is hot and trending on what's going on with privacy. But no. This is something a little bit more on a traditional privacy sense. She locks away her diary because it's so secretive. Okay, this is a little laughable in a way where it's like, okay, how on earth is this trending? But let me go into the subline here. What is it? What's the byline? The next line here in news, okay?
Yeah.
I used to be really angry, she said. I mean, you could literally find old videos of me screaming at paparazzi for no reason. So here she is. We're going to spill some tea over this. Our life's really hard with the paparazzi, okay? Following us around, and I mean, the big sunglasses, the whole thing. But she gets really angry at the paparazzi. And so now she's talking about how she's angry and she's locking away her diary forever. I could read on. Do you want me to read on?
I mean, I will just say, if you're looking for security in your diary, there are many other ways of doing that than having an actual paper and pen situation. There are apps, there are different websites, which I guess you could say could get hacked. I can't imagine there's anything that you could do or say that would be shocking to me for a girl who has already done a lot of things that I would find shocking, has lived her life in front of the camera since a small age. Every person in Hollywood who is an A-lister says you can avoid the paparazzi if you want to. Like, they know where the paparazzi are. You just don't go to those places. So I've always been of the belief, if you're having a problem with paparazzi, it's because you're seeking them out to say, I don't want paparazzi to take my picture. So I don't feel any sympathy for the Kardashians, just in general. I don't want to say I loathe them, because if I had the chance to do what they were doing, I would do it in a second. I would wear skinny bikinis and go on beaches and talk about whatever mimosas, whatever. I would do exactly what they're doing.
And get paid for it.
Get paid for it, no questions asked. But my care, oh my gosh, I hope they're okay, is pretty small. I find them to be utterly ridiculous. If we can go back briefly,
please.
There was, because I used to work in like pop radio where we'd have to talk about the Kardashians. Actually, I helped produce Chloe's show when she was here in Dallas a long time ago. Yeah,
Chloe After Dark.
Yeah. Well, her radio show. Yes. Yeah, but that was After Dark was when she was in Miami. This was like Chloe midday. But
a very different Chloe. I'm
very
sure.
different Chloe. Fun fact: I remember getting an email about like an all hands email when she was in Miami, and it said no one can bring a controlled substance, which is a drug. And they actually named the drug, but we'll leave that out. No one can bring a controlled substance into the radio booth, and that's because of Khloe Kardashian. She had found a guy on the street and thought it'd be funny to buy a controlled substance, bring it up to the studio, and like talk about it, and like take it out, and like play with it.
Wow.
Inside of the setting, which is a felony. So her show.
Not today, Khloe Kardashian.
Not today. So
not
Khloe,
today. Not
Khloe,
on our show,
yeah.
but somebody else's show. Go for it.
Yeah,
Actually, one of our competitors. Go. Let's
do
see
that.
what happens.
So Chloe After Lunch was a much different show. But again, they were all very strategic, very planned, very recorded. They came in, we did a lot of stuff.
Wait. Kardashians is scripted?
100%.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
No.
Yeah, no. I know it's hard to believe. But they live their life. And they're always saying they're an open book. And I have seen someone interview Kim one time, and I was in the room. I didn't get to interview her, thank God, because I don't know what I would have asked. But someone else asked, and they asked a question that she didn't want to answer. And again, she was like, I'm an open book, everyone. And like, I just believe in being honest and having like integrity in who you are. But if you ask me a question that I don't want to answer, I'm going to say that you're being very rude. I'm going to walk out. So overall, I have a big problem with this.
But
the
I want to know
Kardashians
your
in general.
impersonation of "You're being so rude."
You're being so rude. Okay, actually, I'll tell you later. I know exactly who it was that was interviewing her.
Now we're all dying to know.
Yeah, nope, sorry. Some things I keep locked up in my diary, and they're only for me. I think they're ridiculous people, and it makes me sad. Not angry, just sad that there are real problems happening in the world. There are real people who are hurting, and maybe it's escapism. Sure, maybe you watch them and be like, oh, I could do this if I just did the right amount of TikToks online and got popular. Maybe that's what it is. But for the most part, I wish people would go, that's not what you want your life to be. Like, you don't want to have the dictionary.com correct you when you say you're a self-made billionaire. And they have to go, actually, the definition of self-made is, you don't want those things to happen. Like, and the thing is, like, and it's, who's that girl again with the one? Kendall. I had the most hope for Kendall because she seemed like she wasn't going down the path of her sisters. Like, she wanted to have like a business idea. And I wish for once they had one daughter who was like, hey, I'm going to focus on education. I'm going to focus, and don't give me that Kim's going back to law school business. I'm going to focus on education. I'm going to focus on actually doing things that help people. I'm going to go on the path of Hermione, where she's talking about women's rights and being an activist and doing those kinds of things. But no, she went down the exact same path and give me my reality show and my sublet to my sublet to my sublet of a reality show. And they basically, between the Kardashians and Ryan Seacrest, own the E! Network, which is fine. Again, I would do the exact same thing if someone gave me the ability to do it, but they haven't, so now I get to hate. That's kind of how all that works.
Well, it's not over until it's over, Josh. I mean, they can always rewrite their own story.
100%. Yeah, no,
I think Keeping Up with the Kardashians is I wouldn't say canceled, but, you know, they're kind of discontinuing the series.
Yeah, but they're breaking that off into like 4 other shows. Like, you know, and then like the whole, like, don't you feel sorry for Kim and Kanye? No. They're 2 crazy people who found each other and did crazy things. Like, if you didn't see that coming, and again, I'm sorry to get back off track. If you didn't see that coming, then you're an Uber fan who is blind.
Kanye's over?
Yeah, they're divorced. Am I right, Joe?
What?
Joe pretends he doesn't know. He knows. He's our Hollywood insider. He knows. Yeah, they're divorced. They're donezo. She's already dating that weird kid from SNL.
But you think the divorce is finalized? Kim Kardashian has remained quiet since filing for divorce. Filing for divorce from Ye. So he references himself as Y-E.
Yeah.
Ye.
Well, it was Yeezy, and then now it's just
Ye
it's the whole
has
thing.
taken grievances publicly. Psychologists believe that Kanye West has reflected his grief and also has veered into obsessiveness with the aggravated partner. Taking the breakup in public forum, the best thing to do is disengage. So I guess, you know, Google's giving us some advice here. They're taking the opportunity.
I go back to this.
But they have filed. They are not officially divorced in terms of the Google search here.
She's dating other guys. So if they're not divorced, there's some serious problems. I will say this shouldn't be trending. We should be talking about world issues, global problems, how we're going to solve them, how we're going to heal humanity. That's what we should be talking about, but we're not, and that's okay. And we'll get more into it and see what's trending again next week, right here when you come back on Friday for RNCN Trends. I'm Josh, Sarah, in the booth is Joe. Have a great Friday.
RNCN Trends.